Hey, I may not be a ginger, but I knew it from day one that ginger had some powerful properties when it came down to intermittent fasting. It just took me a while to find all the evidence and all the demonstrated studies. So let's dive into this. Okay, so there's going to be an argument out there that there's a couple of calories in ginger powder, or there's a couple of calories in maybe some ginger-infused water or ginger tea. Does that break your fast? Look, metabolically, yeah, there's a couple of calories, so you could absolutely make that argument. I think Rhonda Patrick would make that argument that there's calories in it, you shouldn't consume it. But when you start looking at the mechanisms of fasting, you realize that there's things that put you deeper into a fast or increase the effectiveness of a fast. And we're not about living like a textbook. We're about living with what is actually going to work and get us the best desired outcome. So I'm going to drop some science bombs on you with ginger. I do want to make sure you hit the red subscribe button. Please don't forget, and then please do turn on those notifications so you never miss a beat. And after this video, check out Fujiro Matcha. Okay, Fujiro Matcha is a 180-year-old matcha company. They are my go-to fasting matcha green tea. Okay, 180-year-old company. They know how to do this. They harvest baby green tea leaves in the shade in Japan, how it should be done. They don't just pulverize regular green tea leaves. They actually harvest them differently. And they have tremendous ceremonial grade matchas and all kinds of different roasted matchas. The stuff is insanely, insanely good, and it is my go-to matcha for fasting. So check them out down below in the description after you watch this video, please. Long story long, to get into a deep fasted state, you need to activate PPAR Alpha. Okay, PPAR is sort of this genetic sort of on switch that starts turning on fat burning genes. It's not all just mechanical. We have a genetic code that is training our body and the cells within our body to use fat. So we have to kind of flip that master switch. Well, it turns out that ginger has some indirect ways of doing that. Okay, for one, ginger is a potent lipolysis activator. It triggers lipolysis. What does that mean? That means that it signals fat to leave the tissue and go to the bloodstream. That's only one part of the equation though. What good is fat circulating in the bloodstream if nothing's actually burning it? So lipolysis is when you start doing that. Well, it turns out that ginger stimulates that a lot. But why is that important? Well, when you are fasting and in the absence of food, that circulating fat is going to signal PPAR to be activated. You see, PPAR only gets activated once it starts sensing you using your own fat. So it takes a while when you're fasting to get to that point. Okay, your body has to burn through all of your food and burn through glucose before it ever starts using your own fat. That means it takes a while before PPAR is activated. Well, if we could mobilize those fats a little bit faster, we could activate PPAR faster. And ginger does that. But that's not it. Check out some other research. This is really cool. It turns out that there's different varying forms of PPAR. And we don't want to just activate PPAR in general because some PPAR actually encourages the restorage of fat. One in particular called PPAR gamma. So you're probably getting bored with this biochemistry, but let me just cut to the chase. There's something called 6-Shogal in ginger. And now there are studies that demonstrate that 6-Shogal inhibits PPAR gamma. It stops the bad PPAR, but it activates PPAR alpha directly. So ginger not only mobilizes fat, which activates PPAR alpha, but it also directly affects PPAR alpha. So it's a huge potentiator when it comes down to getting into a fasted state as fast as possible. But while we're talking about these Shogals, let's talk about something called 10-Shogal. So other studies demonstrate that 10-Shogal spikes your adrenaline through what is called your TRPV receptors. Okay, now what does that mean? This pathway activates more of an adrenaline response. Well, what does adrenaline do? Well, adrenaline allows you to actually oxidize and use the fat for fuel. Okay, so now we have ginger working in a few different ways, mobilizing fat, activating the genes, and activating the process which is going to allow us to burn them. Okay, yes, I'm starting to feel that all of my inclinations towards ginger for the last few years have been correct. And it's taken me a while to realize that it's so powerful. I just do it and people don't always understand why. Now I understand a little bit more of the why. But let me drop another science bomb on you. This one is published in the American Journal of Respiratory Cell and Molecular Biology, and this one looks at the combination of the two main compounds in ginger, the Shogals and the gingerols. Well, it turns out that Shogals and gingerols, when combined, potentiate, okay, they add more potential to beta agonists. So that means the caffeine that you consume during your fast now just became more effective at helping you use fat. That caffeine that usually is our friend during a fast, if you ask me, is now more powerful. Now, not more powerful in the sense of making you more jittery and giving you more energy. More powerful as what is called a phosphatidylserase inhibitor, more powerful at allowing your body to accumulate cyclic adenosine monophosphate, which is Thomas's gobbledygook for more potential to burn fat. Cyclic adenosine monophosphate is what you want accumulated because it's going to allow your body to start having more potential to burn fat. The long and the short of that means we now have 4 pathways in which ginger is going to enhance your fast. So call me crazy, say that it's not fasting because you're adding ginger. But again, like, are you here to be the perfect faster, or are you here to get results? That's why my slogan on my channel is pursue results reinforced with science. Do what works for you. Ginger works for me. I'll see you tomorrow.